The next thing that we're going to be doing is adding integers using number lines. So these are the same 4 steps that we use every single time. Every time we do one of these, we start, we face, we move, and we end. You'll get into the habit of actually doing SFME every time that we approach one of these problems. At this point, you should stop the video, or pause the video, I should say, and write these notes, these steps, into your notebook. Okay, so next we're going to do some examples. The first thing we're going to look at is adding 2 positive integers. Now again, I know that everyone knows the answers to these, but we always start with the things that we know the answers to so that we can make sure that our final answers here make sense. So the first thing that we're going to do is draw ourselves a little mini number line. And those 4 steps that you just wrote down, start, face, move, end. These are the 4 things that you're going to be doing. So the first question you ask yourself is, where do you start? Well, reading left to right, the first thing we have is a positive 4. So I'm going to put that positive 4 right in the middle of my number line because that's going to be my starting point. I'm going to write here next to my S, positive 4. Now I'm going to face based on this here. And like I said earlier, we are always adding, so therefore we always face to the right or positive side of the number line. So I'm going to draw myself a little arrow right above the positive 4 to indicate which way I'm facing. And we're facing in the positive direction or to the right because we're adding. Now the next thing we need to talk about is which way we're going to move. So we look at this second integer. The second integer is positive, so therefore we move forward. Now it will take a little getting used to understanding that forward and backward is based on this arrow that we already made. And we're going to be moving forward the absolute value of positive 3, which is 3, so we're moving forward 3. So I know that's going to be 1, 2, 3. This is where we go. We're going to end right here. So that's positive 5, 6, 7. So this is positive 7 is my answer. So I end on positive 7, the answer. So again, I would suggest that you stop here and try this one on your own. Okay, so here we are. We're going to be adding positive 1 plus positive 4. The first thing that we do is we draw our number line, and then we are going to be identifying the start, the face, the move, and the end. So we know we're going to be starting on positive 1 because that's the first integer in our problem. We know that we're adding, so therefore we're going to be facing to the right. And that's again because we're adding. So I'm going to draw this arrow. And while we're doing these today, and the next few days when we're only adding, we'll always be facing to the right. Don't get too used to that because that will change when we start subtracting. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is talk about is where we're going to be moving. This is a positive number, so we're going to be moving forward, and the absolute value of positive 4 is 4, so we're going to be moving forward 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where we end. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, positive 5. That's where we ended, and that therefore is our answer, positive 5. So the next thing we're going to be doing is adding 2 negative integers. Now this is going to look the same at first because I am going to draw that number line. And these are sketches. If I was actually drawing a number line, I would use a ruler. I would measure it out and make sure that the intervals are the same size. But this is a sketch for our work. And we're going to identify start, face, move, and end. Our first integer is -2, so therefore we're going to be starting at -2. Now facing, we're still adding, so that means we'll be facing to the right, or on the positive end. There I am. And then we're going to move. Now it's a little bit different because it's negative. So because it's negative, that means we move back. And the absolute value of -3 is 3, so we're going to be moving back 3. So here we are looking at this arrow facing that way. So backwards is now in this direction. We're moving back 3. 1, 2, 3. This is where I'm going to end. That's -2, 3, 4, -5. Our final answer is -5 because that's where we ended. So again, I'd say stop your video and try this next one on your own. Okay, so here we are. We've got our number line. Again, same thing. Start, face, move, end. We're going to be starting wherever that first integer indicates, which is -3 in this case. So I'm going to put that in the center of my number line. There's -3. I know that I'm adding, so therefore I'm facing towards the positive side or to the right. So there's my arrow facing on that positive side or to the right. I know that I'm going to be moving. It's negative, so I'm going to be moving back. And it's -1, so I'm just going to be moving back 1. So therefore, that's in this direction. I'm only going to be going one spot. So that's -4. Our final answer is -4. Okay, so next we need to look at adding two integers that have different signs. It looks like I might have made a little bit of an error here. So I'm going to go in and fix that before we do anything else. Sorry, it's taking me a moment to fix this here. I'm almost there. So we want that to be a +2. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so here we are. We've got two different signs, but the steps are identical every single time. First thing I do is draw my number line. I know I'm going to be looking at start, face, move, and end. I'm going to be starting at +4, so that therefore it's in the center of my number line. That's +4. I know I'm adding, so I'm going to be facing to the right. So there it is, facing in that direction. I'm going to be moving. It's a negative number, so therefore I'm going to be moving back. It's only 1, so I'm going to go back 1. So here I am, back 1. Well, what number's right there but +3? So therefore my end, or my answer, is +3. There it is. Stop your video here and do this one on your own. Okay, and here we are. First thing, draw our number line. We are going to start, face, move, end. I'm starting at -6 because that's the first integer I run into. I am facing to the right or in the positive direction. Again, it's going to seem like that's all I ever do, but while we're adding, that is all you're ever going to do. Then I've got +2. That tells me to move forward 2. So here we are. I'm going to go in this direction, so it's 1, 2. That's where I end. That's -5. This is -4. My final answer is -4. And now when I add more than two integers, I still am only going to do 2 at a time. I'm going to ignore this. I'm going to do my positive 4 plus negative 1, so I'm going to give myself a little bit less room here, but you need to gauge that based on the problem. I see this as positive 4. Well, I know my start is positive 4. I know I'm going to face to the right. I know I'm going to move. Get that in here, I'm facing to the right. And I'm going to move back because it's negative 1, 1. So here I'm going in this direction. I'm going to get to positive 3. So I'm going to end there on positive 3. Now I've got positive 3. The new problem that I have is positive 3 plus negative 3. Now hopefully you're noticing something already, but we still want to see it on the number line. Let's see what happens. I'm going to start in the center with positive 3. I'm going to face, of course, to the right. I'm going to move back, in this case 3. So let's take a look at this. If I'm facing in this direction, I know I'm going back this way. That's 1, 2, 3. That's 2, 1, 0. My end point, or my final answer, is 0. Now hopefully you recognized that positive 3 and negative 3 were a 0 pair to begin with. You already knew that, but there it proves it on the number line, what will happen. So let's take a look at our next and final one. I would stop the video here and try this one by yourself, and then come back. Okay, so here we are. We've got negative 2 plus negative 2. So rules are always the same. Start, face, move, end. So I'm going to be starting at negative 2. Because I'm adding, I'm going to be facing to the right, always in the positive direction. So there's my arrow facing in that direction. I'm going to be moving, because it's negative, back 2. So remember, I'm facing this direction, so I'm going to move back 1, 2 places. So that's negative 3, negative 4 is where we ended up. So my end place is negative 4. So my new problem, because I didn't do anything with this, is negative 4 plus positive 4. So I look at my number line. There I am in the center with negative 4. I start, face, move, end. That is an E. Sorry, that looks like that. I'm going to start at negative 4. My plus tells me that I'm facing in the positive direction, or to the right. The fact that, oops, I forgot to put the face to the right here. Sorry about that. I'm going to be moving forward because it's a positive force. It means I'm moving in this direction. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's negative 3, negative 2, negative 1. My answer is 0. And again, forward, 4. Hopefully, again, you knew that you're going to end at 0 because those are a 0 pair.